Well, hello and welcome and welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Thank you for joining me on this very special, long-awaited, highly anticipated Thursday edition of Poco Moss, the show where we try to give you just a little bit more. And a lot of people are like, oh, you don't come on, when stocks are down. Like, guys, believe it or not, my favorite times are when great stocks are down because that's when I tend to buy them. Like, I don't like to buy things off the highs. You don't make any money that way. You look like a big fat asshole or whatever, or so I'm told. So it doesn't bother me. The market obviously took a shock. Fed Jerome Powell scared the hell out of everybody. Sort of burst the everything bubble, as they were saying. Just kind of pump the brakes, said we're probably, not on track to have as many rate cuts next year as things seem. It's just kind of a wait and see. You just have to see what happens with the economy. Personally, I don't think heavy tariffs, a trade war, are going to do anything good for the economy, good for the markets. But, especially over the short and medium term, over the long term, you could argue it's going to bring back manufacturing or something, but that's just nonsense. I'm sorry, that's just not how things work. But anyway, you can, hold your own political trade beliefs, whatever you want to do. But I just think we have to wait and see because we don't know what policies are actually going to get implemented, and we don't know the severity or the degree they're going to get implemented to, how long they're going to go on, if there's going to be some sort of resolution. So we'll just have to wait and see, guys. But obviously, tax cuts, less regulation, that's going to be good. So it's just everybody's kind of holding their breath, waiting to see. I think the Fed is sort of doing the same thing. They're just there's just a tremendous amount of uncertainty going into next year, which the market hates. So basically, everything got clobbered. For my money, it really doesn't make a hell of a lot of difference if Nio is trading at 450 or 440. In fact, if you look, ever since March of this year, it is really for a long time kind of tread in this 430 to 480 space. You can see it doing that throughout the entire first 2 weeks of April, and then it goes from the beginning of June kind of all the way through the end of July, right at that space. And then again, most of the way through November, kind of had a little bit of a bump there. And then right back, algo held right back to this 450, 440 level. Now you have to say, why do they want to hold it here? I mean, I think, market makers look at this kind of like SoFi as a war of attrition. I mean, first, do they want to accumulate Nio? I mean, for a long time, the bear thesis was, hey, battery swap is a boondoggle. It's never going to work. It doesn't make any sense. And they just kept trying to sell that. But that's 180 degrees from the truth. And pretty soon, that was just very clear that the Chinese government wanted battery swap. It was assisting every way they could, building out battery swap, forcing partners. And everybody sort of kept up with this narrative that, hey, this is never going to work. Elon is so smart. He passed on battery swap 10 years ago. But then what happens? CATL comes out and says they're aggressively building out their battery swap network. They're introducing 10 new models with different partners. They say over the next 10 quarters, they're going to introduce. But listen, introducing a model and actually getting it out there are two totally different things. And doing that 10 times with 10 different companies, these Choco blocks, I know they're supposed to, I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but they're supposed to, have different capacities. You can have one, you can have more depending on your needs. And it sounds like a good idea, but frankly, Nio has different capacities. I hesitate to say that Nio can, outcompete CATL, but I think we would be very naive to think an idea this good that everybody's starting to realize, Nio was right, and they have been right all along. They're not going to get out there with no competition and just, dominate the space with their alliance. CATL has thrown down the gauntlet, but CATL doesn't even say how many swap stations they have. They're acting like they're already building these cars when it's vapor. I think it's years down the road. I think they're completely out ahead of themselves. They don't have any of the infrastructure. They don't have anything in place. They don't have any factories, building these cars right now that I know of, or I think, people would have scooped that already. So I think this is a little bit further down the line than people think. And I think this puts extreme pressure on other players to maybe align themselves with either CATL or Nio. because those are the two major players in the space. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? Got Six Kings. Jeff Presley, what's up? Yep, good old shakeout yesterday, Jeff. And things back up for today. Got the great Princess Jay in house. We got Carl Seamark, the Mattress King of Chicago. Wait and see, like every other single. Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason to panic, particularly on a Chinese stock that's not selling anything in America and isn't going to be for this foreseeable future. So the Chinese are, going the other way. They're trying to stimulate economy. They're trying to stimulate demand. They're dealing with the deflationary pressures in their housing and real estate market. So it's just, if you look at Nio and you think about it through the lens of the American Fed decisions, you're just looking at it completely wrong, because in many ways it's really a hedge against those things, and it's a completely different thing. So you don't have the same concerns there. Yes, tariffs are a concern in terms of the EU, but I think that's going to be resolved faster than 2 years as well. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure, coming from the Germans, coming from the British. I think they need the Chinese EV market more than the Chinese need the EU, quite frankly, because if you look at the demand in China, it's just completely off the charts. Just coming in a little bit closer, I mean, you see the same thing you see basically every single day: massive volume in the beginning, a little bit of a spike, preceding a sell-off all day, and then a little bit of buying at the end of the day. So that, like, last 5 days, it doesn't matter, it sells off, obviously, on the, the Fed Jerome Powell, shock talk, whatever. And then today, just again, algo held back at 440, basically most of the day. So that's why I haven't been doing that much Nio, because the price action has just been, boring as hell, but the news is anything but. So, Firefly, that's going to be launched on Nio Day, which is like 1 day away. The 21st, Envo chief deliveries up to speed, reiterates confidence in December target. So guys, they're saying they're going to deliver 30,000 units. They just said that. They're on pace for that. So that's going to be almost 50% month-on-month increase. And then if they're delivering 20,000 Nios and they're delivering 20,000 Envos by March, that's going to be, again, a doubling from like November into March. So 4 months, they're going to double production. They're talking about doubling deliveries from 2024 to 2025 year on year. So I don't know, guys, but the market wants proof. I mean, the market has not seen a delivery ramp, not particularly enthused about the way they handled the logistics, the supply chain, the availability, the ramp with Envo. In a market with infinite choice, it's not great that people are waiting for 12 weeks for a vehicle. I mean, it gives it a feeling of exclusivity, but there's just so many choices in this price range, in this space. I just don't like it. It's like Junior Soprano said, I don't like it. I don't like it. Pretty soon he'll be making jokes about me. And we all know how that ended. So I draw the comparison to CATL. A lot of people are thinking, okay, it's such a bad thing. CATL is just going to crush Nio. I know the great Mr. P, who his surprise face is everything. He called it a gut punch to Nio. I think we had to see this coming. I mean, CATL is not going to sit there as a leading battery manufacturer in the world and just let Nio take over the entire industry just because of their, charm and good looks. That's not how things work, guys. When you're the 800-pound gorilla, you roll barrels down the slope at the little dude, at the little Italian guy. I don't know. However things worked in Donkey Kong, I don't know. But CATL is the 800-pound gorilla, and Nio's trying to jump the barrels. Now, the advantage Nio has is a huge first-mover advantage, because everybody thought this was not possible or practicable. But it is, and Nio's proven that. They've proven that concept, but they need partners in this network to start building cars sooner than later. Por favor, I'm begging you, build some cars with this Nio standard. If we can't get anybody else to build cars, it doesn't really matter if they're making 40,000 cars or 100,000 cars. They're not going to be able to compete with CATL working with 10 different manufacturers, basically smacking us around, giving us the old Archie slap. Not fun. But Nio, this just shows how far ahead they are. Nio's battery swap completes coverage of China's major highways. 9 vertical, 9 horizontal highways, guys. It's like a game of tic-tac-toe over here. Nio's battery swap network will be China's 18 busiest highways, 913 stations. That's more stations than CATL has in total. They don't say how many stations they have because it's a handful. Is it a couple? Is it a few? What's the difference? On December 18th, sort of G25 Chengquan Shenzhen Highway, completing, sorry about my Chinese pronunciation, not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just, a chubby middle-aged white guy. I can't speak Chinese. What the fuck do you want from me? I speak a little Spanish, little pidgin Spanish. Un poquito, un poco, no más, un poco, no más. Completing the network's coverage of the country's major interhighway across 12 city clusters. The company said 12 city clusters. How many clusters you completed? None. Sitting on your computer, playing games, probably watching something racy. On these routes, users will be able to complete a battery swap at a service in just 3 minutes, making powering up more convenient than refueling, Nio said. Nio unveiled plans on September 21st, 2021 to have its battery swap network cover 5 vertical highways, 3 horizontal highways, and 4 major metropolitan areas in order to address the mileage anxiety of car owners on long-distance trips. Now, you see, they cover the entire country already, and they have almost 3,000 swaps already. And so CATL is talking about having 1,500 swaps by the end of next year, when Nio's expected to have maybe close to 5,000 swaps. And Nio's already expanding swaps throughout Europe. They're about to expand swaps in Africa with the cooperation of multiple governments, state-run utilities, phone, power. So CATL obviously has tremendous size advantage. Size isn't everything, as they say. It's not the size of your boat. It's the motion of the ocean. All those lies they tell you. All those lies women tell you. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. Let's not talk about my penis. It's not what the show's about. Been a crazy fighting my way through Costco right now. Not a lurker's in Costco. He has a big wrench. Just not a lurker. Find the oldest lady you can find in line. Just take her out. Just take her out with the wrench. Get her placed. Get that food home. You've got a lot of fin turd shows tonight. It's a big fin turd night, not a lurker. You got to keep everybody in line. The Canadians, the Texans, the chunky people, the norms, what I call people of a healthy weight, norms. Also a good diner if you're here in Los Angeles. Got the bigger, better breakfast. It's kind of ironic because it is norms, and norms are of a healthy weight. So norms don't eat that bigger, better breakfast, but I certainly enjoy it from time to time. Clap, my dog bought more. Good man. So what's going to go on at Nio Day? What's going to go on with the price action? It's just very, very hard to say it because the algo has been working on this thing literally locked on for the last 2 years, at least since this point in January 2022. And I would argue it's working pretty hard right here. And all that happened is on these spikes. I mean, you can see it. If you start right here, kind of right in this area, you just draw a line, goes here, and you draw another line here. I mean, it's just been walk down. It's a walk down. It's a Paul Hogan style walkabout. Good eye, mate. So anyway, yeah, not a lurkers. Mrs. Lurker's not going to appreciate that comment, Billy Jack. You get back to Texarkana. You hold it down there. You let Not a Lurker worry about Jersey. He's got to worry about them drones. Not a Lurker probably taking them big drones to Costco. That's what's going on. Everybody's like, what's going on? It's a crazy drone service. Not a Lurker going to Costco. Couldn't fit all the stuff in his Suburban. Guy needed 800 chicken wings for his weekend football party. Oh, anyway, guys, so I don't really know what this show is about. It's just people asking me to do a Nio. I mean, this thing is so undervalued. There is no other EV company doing anything even remotely close to what Nio is doing. Think about rolling out Onvo. I mean, it's like starting a whole nother company from scratch. Dealer network, service network, international. They have their own executives in charge of Onvo, in charge of Firefly. They cover the entire spectrum from the ET9, which is $100,000 state-of-the-art executive saloon car. As Jeremy Clarkson would say, a saloon. Is it a proper saloon? Let's find out. James May, he's like, well, you brute. He's like, Richard Hammond. He's like, where is he? I don't know if you guys like that show. It's good stuff. I know Clarkson got in trouble for making some off-color comments and stuff, and everybody's like, well, I mean, I'm kind of a little bit of a, I wouldn't say, I'm not like politically correct. I don't go out of my way to offend people, but I don't know. I don't have a big, I think Clarkson is kind of like got caught up in this whole thing that like, hey, he's a horrible guy. I don't really believe it, but I don't know. I don't know the guy personally, but I did enjoy the original Top Gear. The American one was terrible. Rutledge Wood. Give me a break. That guy Tanner Faust. What a piece of dog crap. The only good guy was that Italian guy who was in Beer League with Artie Lang. I don't know what all this has to do with Nio. Precious little. Anyway, guys, what's the point of my show? If you're asking existential questions, you're probably in the wrong place. Let's see if we can find something on Nio. So issue or document, I have no idea what's going on. So they're planning to launch Firefly 1 quarter after they launch it in China. It's going to be kind of centered around Europe, smart car, sort of competing with that, mini smart sort of vehicle. So as far as shorting, borrowed change, again, way up today, another 3.5 million. They returned a few shares on Friday. Cost to borrow max still 9, cost to borrow average still 5. So still quite high despite shares available being on the plentiful side. A plethora of shares are available with a nod to El Guapo. You better not tell him he has a plethora of sweaters. You don't know what a plethora is. So short interest 14%, 183 million shares. Shares on loan still 385 million, but that's down considerably. Just this month, looks like they've returned about 60 million shares, but cost to borrow is still high. So I don't know, guys. It's anybody's bet what's going to happen with this one over the short term. Long term, I just think this is a huge winner. I think they have a significant lead in battery swap. If there's going to be probably end up being 2 competing networks, which just might be Nio and CATL, and horses for courses. They're the Choco system. I like to say Choco, deze, Nutz. That's the CATL system. It's basically sort of modular block system. It might seem more advanced. It might seem more simple, but it also kind of seems more complex. Multiple battery switches. The Nio system, the beauty of it, as Walter Sobchak said, is it's just is in its simplicity. It's so simple, Walter. It's like, that's the beauty of it, dude. Slow down to 15 mph. I grab the Uzi. I roll out. And it's like, Uzi? You didn't think I was going out there naked, did you, dude? Just falls down, breaks his arm, wants to go bowling. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello. I have to just be a little bit quiet. I have a meeting in the other room. Just going to whisper for one moment. But Zach Gerties, you think Firefly will use C? That's an interesting question. I don't, because I think they're bound and determined. If they did, it would certainly be an interesting twist of events, but I don't see that happening because it kind of, hamstrings Nio's entire image as the battery swap company. But it would be a different standard anyway, and it would save them. But the other problem there is that the swap network with CATL is just nascent. So I think that means there's not that many. I don't know. I'm trying to use big words, sound more intelligent than I am. When you're chunky, you have to use big words. People think you're dumb. He's like, would that guy not have healthy food choices in his neighborhood? What's going on there? Rough childhood? What's going on? I know you're hurting, big man. Have a carrot. Have some kale. Cry it out. Let's hug it out. Let's hug it out over some sprouts. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Vici has been timed out. Hopefully, Alberto Berdiavales, the great Alberto Berdiavales, has banned someone. So what's going on? Good to see you back, Alberto. I think you were here yesterday too. Bowling for soup, whatever. Yeah, what's going on? Hexacon, Lexicon. I loved your work on LexisNexis as well. So no, I don't think so, Zach. I don't think so, but it's certainly an interesting question, and it is quite conspicuous in the timing of them. They're announcing, and then I think, quite frankly, they were trying to steal Nio's thunder. There was really no reason for them to. But it looked like that had been coming together for a long, long time. So obviously isn't something they just started working on yesterday. And I don't think CATL is really worried about Nio. I think they basically looked to Nio and they proved this concept. They've been using this in like ride hailing. Autonomous. So I think it's kind of targeted at two different areas, but now they've thrown down the gauntlet. So they're going after all the passenger cars. It's the same market. So CATL and Nio, direct competition, but Nio has, I'd say, at least a couple year first mover advantage on the swap network. So that's a good thing. Let's see. Swinging the wrench like John Holmes. Beach Boy didn't make me do it again. SMCI is being delisted. Oh boy, that's fun. They haven't been delisted, Albert. Did you just hear that or something? I don't think you're right there. They got kicked out of the NASDAQ 100 index, but they're not actually being delisted from the NASDAQ stock exchange. They've been given an extension until February 25th to file their 10K and quarterly from Q2 2025 fiscal year or something like that. But anyway, yeah, no, they're holding that one too. It's like they're holding that one at 31 to 33, the same way they're holding Nio at 430 to 480, 470. They're churning and burning. They're trying to just grind retail out of their shares as low as possible. That's my theory, because generally if it's just an old-fashioned sell-off, the stock just drops. It doesn't keep just going to the same level, bouncing off over and over and over again. It's kind of happening with Nio and SMCI. So yeah, no, I know, Alberto. I know the deals. You're not. I thought you were just confused. But yeah, you're a prankster and a gangster. So some call you the Pompatus of Love, but no, that's Steve Miller Band, of course, the great Steve Miller Band. No, you grab 50 hot dog and a drink. Absolutely, that's best deal. Slice of pizza. You can't get that anywhere else. But so guys, I mean, what do you think about the price action after Nio Day? I think all this market cares about is units. I think they care a lot more about the 30,000 units and the 40,000 units in March than they do about revolutionary product launches, which is stupid. But I think Firefly might have some big surprises up their sleeve. I think we're going to see something big announced at Nio Day. That's just my sense. They have to do it. You heard the urgency in the memo from William Lee. I think Nio's destined for greatness. I think the Chinese government knows it. I think they're way ahead on swap. I think they're able to compete with CATL pound for pound. Goliath is much, much bigger, but he's also slow. And he realized a long time after the start of the race that David was in fact right. Now, will Goliath be able to use his size and just brute force to kind of beat David into submission, or will David make the well-placed shot with his sling and slay the giant, to use some weird biblical analogies? But anyway, Rocket Labs, cash grabs, Alberto's making money, of course, all over the place. Women care about units, of course, Billy Jack. They care about yours especially. Anyway, guys, that's really all I've got. This video's completely boring, but yeah, it's still just being held at 440. You can see it's being held there after hours. It opened there, held there during the day. This is just 100% algo controlled price action. Sorry, guys, I'm sweating like a whore in church. That hat is super, super hot. Been doing my fat man workouts. Just curls, guys. Fat man workout. It's 5 sets of preacher curls and a extra large chicken quesadilla on your way out of the gym. It is very satisfying and it'll keep you fit, especially if you get extra cheese, extra guac, extra sour cream, extra salsa, extra hot sauce. No lettuce. That lettuce will wilt. You got to eat it real fast in the car. I'm a chicken quesadilla expert, guys. It's body by chicken quesadilla. Anyway, guys, so I don't know. This show's really stupid. Couldn't figure that out. Somebody, it's the great monocle heiress, Graham Colstock. Welcome, Graham Colstock. Also, of course, a huge fan of Dijon mustard. Wall Street reacts to delivery numbers. I'm just starting the stream. Thanks. Hey, thanks, Kramer. You're badgering me is the reason I made this video, so you're welcome. Jordan, living life. You think they will hit delivery target this month? I think yes. I think 100%. I think William Lee said it. The Onvo guys said it. They're going to deliver. They already have the units. They're just doing some final assembly. They're going to deliver those units. They always make a huge push right at the end of the month. And the figures, they're suggesting that that China's going to put out is another record. So I think yes, they're going to absolutely do it. Sorry guys, I'm having some technical difficulties here, but if you look at the estimates, they're expecting December NEV retail to be a record 1.4 million. Beijing Auto Show coming up, all kinds of stuff going on. BYD going to South Korea, of course. Dongfeng Motor enters Mexico. I know you guys love Dongfeng. GAC launches an EVTOL. I like the fact that Nio's not trying to build a flying car, not trying to build a self-driving taxi. They just want to build a complete line of cars that people want at a variety of price points that give you revolutionary features, along with the battery swap network, all that happy stuff. I don't know, guys. That's about all I've got. Let's see who's on the bat phone here. It's the great Not a Lurker, the great J Money. Filtered tap water. I actually have bottled water because the great Princess J is in charge of the office now. So we actually have proper supplies and accommodations. We're not living like savages anymore. But I am drinking out of a small Christmas Dixie cup. So I don't know if that helps or hurts my credibility. You're going to have to decide out there. You make the call, folks. Greetings from Japan. It's Magnum Desperado. Who are you calling a chunky monkey? Yeah, no, you're right. I am a chunky monkey. Let me pour another shot of water from my giant. I have proof. It's not even real water. It's spring water. It's not even bottled from a municipal source. Like that Nestle water. What's up, Blazing Bird? Welcome. Greetings to Japan, Magnum Desperado. We're gonna stay at your place when we get out there. I mastered the Fat Man workout. I put a roast in the oven and mix a drink. Workout done. Oh, Billy Jack, you're funny, man. That's good. That's even better because you don't have to do the curls and you still get to eat. So anyway, Kramer, good to see you. Of course, clap my dog. Think about shipping a car with no battery to what? That's a huge point, which I forgot to address. The tariffs, a lot of it is on the batteries. If you can kind of, worm your way around that, do a weasel workaround and somehow import the batteries or have the batteries do final assembly in the EU, could be huge. That's a great point. Ben Plumpke, the great Ben Plumpke, great with the Blumpke. 1 billion swaps will happen sooner than we think. Yeah, Ben, it's rapidly accelerating because there's 20,000 cars, that gives you 60 swaps a year per car. Then 30,000 cars, 40,000 cars. So while the deliveries are increasing in a linear fashion, the swaps are increasing exponentially. Because for each car you deliver, you're delivering, 50 to 60 swap uses a year. Now, a lot of those are free right now, but they're moving toward a more profitable model where they're not giving away all the swaps. But there's a lot of, a lot of competition, and swap is new. So they're, having to stimulate demand by giving away more free swaps, better packages, et cetera, et cetera. I sent you a carrier pigeon, Graham Colstock. It was with a couple of monocle samples that you had sent me. They didn't fit because I was too sweaty. The monocles kept slipping off. Mr. Poto, Tree, CATL can achieve the long game. Yeah, I mean, everybody's just assuming that CATL can just do this, that they have everything in place, that it's just, the fact that they make batteries does not necessarily mean they know how to design cars. I know they do. I know they have these people, but everyone thinks what Nio has accomplished is just, everyone thought it was impossible before Nio did it. Now they think it's just going to be super easy for CATL. Naive, naive, naive. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. Nio again, after hours, stuck at 440. Just like this channel, just kind of stuck in the mud. Sometimes you're stuck in second gear, guys. It hasn't been your week, your month, or even your year. But, if you want somebody to be there for you, you don't necessarily want just some chunky stock monkey. But sometimes you don't get what you want, guys. You get what you need. I believe it was Mick Jacker who said that. Let's see. That was funny, honey. Thank you very much. Hope I'm stuck in the Costco lines. Hey, guys, if anybody's at Costco in New Jersey and you see a very handsome bald man with glasses who's trying to feed his family and has been working his ass off, get out of his way. Tell him it's Not a Lurker week. Show him your Not a Lurker membership card. Get out of this man's way. He has razors. He's got to get home and shave that head. You can almost see some stubble. Anyone in the state of New Jersey, Consider me a fat Jimmy Hoffa. Give this man anything he wants. Signed, sealed, delivered. All right. We might start as a secret society, a Third Army secret society, because, what if your truck breaks down? You're sitting there. It's like, I'm not going to do the Danny DeVito speech from Hoffa, but I know Hoffa went on for like 4 hours, but man, it was such good acting. I mean, Danny DeVito, it's just Nicholson. I mean, it was just one of those like period pieces where you could sink into it and you actually really believe the character. So many of those, period pieces like Ben Affleck in a, Pearl Harbor situation, or like Ben Affleck as a bank robber, or Ben Affleck as an accountant, or Ben Affleck rescuing hostages from Iran. You just don't believe it. You just don't believe it. Yeah, man has a giant forehead. I mean, some people, particularly women, particularly some women with the initials PJ, think he's a great actor. He's very handsome. They like the film Pearl Harbor, even though it was the worst piece of shit in the history of the world. I can't be held accountable for all people's opinions, but they're actually smarter than me. So, we have to take them at their word. It's up to 2K shares, 461 average, Mopar for life. But I think Mopar, I think the whole nameplate's in big trouble, my friend. I'm worried. I'm very worried. Not only about Jeep, I'm worried about Nissan. I'm worried about all these cars going out of business. Chinese are going to put everybody out of business. Nautilurker's out on the street. You guys also buy Nautilurker a slice of pizza and a giant hot dog. It's only $1.50, you cheap bastards. Think about all he does for you, moderating these shows. For you filthy, unwashed masses. Yeah, I'll pick you up with my underwater stocks and my broke-down charger. That'll charm the ladies, Mopar. Ladies love a Mopar, man. That's for sure. Nothing gets them going like a Hemi. You know that. Alberto Bardiava's Nio going to the moon. Should give his hash. It's right now, it's just going nowhere fast, Alberto. It's going nowhere fast. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen short term. I just know long term, I think this is a huge winner. I think the government wants them to win, and they're going to make them win. Now, whether Nio Day is going to be a big pump or just to sell the news, or I would just think it's going to be, like a gopher farting. Nobody cares because it's underground in a hole. So unless it wafts out and you happen to be right there at that time, it's not going to be a huge concern. But yeah, gopher farts. Another CATL penny build battery swap that will affect Nio in the long run. Hey, Pong Vuth Tam Wrong Youth. That's what I've been talking about this whole show. Literally, the whole show's been about that. No, Pong Vuth. Yes, we had to expect competition, Pong Vuth. Oh, Pong Vuth, Pong Vuth, Pong Vuth. Of course, me and Pong Vuth are old friends. We used to, work security together throughout the clubs, Bangkok. Got into a disagreement one night. Did stab me with a corkscrew. That's why I have, no sight in my left eye, limited sight in my right eye. But other than that, we're good friends to this day. No, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to have an effect on everything. But let's talk SMCI. Yeah, let's try to do an SMCI a little later. I'm going to bail out of this video because it's going nowhere fast. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. It's un poco mas. It's Nio. We'll probably be stuck at 440 again tomorrow on the Nio Day. Hopefully something happens because things like watching paint dry, I'll go holding it for years. Appreciate you guys watching. Thanks, Alberto. Thanks, Princess J. Thanks, Nautilurker. Appreciate you guys. Peace. I'm out.